Welcome to Party Today we are going to discuss about Hinayana and Mahayana form of Buddhism or form of Buddhism in the Kushana Era. In the Kushana Era, we can see some developments in Buddhist philosophy. The 5 centuries mark a glorious phase in the history of Buddhism, which took great strides within and beyond the subcontinent. Since the holding of the Third Buddhist Council during the reign of Ashoka, the importance of the Sthaviravadi or Theravadi, a Hinayana sect, was firmly established. The clear separation between the lesser vehicle or Hinayana and the greater vehicle or Mahayana came to be established after the Fourth and the final Buddhist Council. There is a strong tradition that the Fourth Buddhist Council was held in Kashmir during the reign of Kanishka I, though it is a controversial issue among scholars. The followers of Hinayana are spread over Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, and Southeast Asia. Mahayana Buddhism reached China via Central Asia, and from China it spread as far as Korea and Japan, though the spread of Buddhism in the last 2 centuries took place in subsequent times. The division in Buddhism into Hinayana and Mahayana was a landmark in the history of Buddhism. Besides the Sthaviravadins, another sect of the Hinayana attained great prominence. This sect is known as Sarvastivadins. We can get some ideas about this sect from Peshawar casket inscription, which is dated as contemporary to the time of Kushanas. This sect received considerable patronage from Kanishka I and made their presence felt in Kashmir, Gandhar, and in Central Asia. The Sarvastivadin view does not deny the existence of the material world, nor did they perceive the Arhat as infallible. They did not consider Buddha as a suprahuman being. The other notable Hinayana sect, the Mahasanghikas, followed the Hinayana fundamental tenets. For example, the 4 Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, and the chain of causation, but also accepted the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas as celestial beings. This position seems to have brought the Mahasanghikas quite close to the Mahayana sect. From the Mahasanghikas emerged another sect, the Bahusrutiyas, whose active presence in the Nagarjunkonda Amaravati area of the eastern Deccan is clear from epigraphic evidence. The most distinguishing feature of Mahayana Buddhism were the recognition of the Buddha as a god, the development of the philosophy of void or Shunyavada, and the concept of Bodhisattvas. The Pali canonical texts never propounded the divine status of the Buddha, and therefore the Buddha was represented in art through Aniconic symbols like the elephant, horse, the Bodhi tree, and the wheel of law or Dharmachakra, etc. From the 1st century BCE or CE, the Buddha began to be propitiated in human form under the influence of the Mahayana thinking. Revering the Master through images rather than abstract and aniconic symbols had immediate and widespread appeal for both monks and nuns and also for the lay worshipper. Mahayana philosophy laid great emphasis on the acquisition of merit or punya by a person through charity and liberality or dana. This implied that a rich and or powerful person donating lavishly to the Buddhist Sangha was in a position to acquire merit, which, being constantly on the increase by the virtue of more and more charity, ultimately would pave the way for the person's emancipation. In other words, such a concept would render redundant the steadfast practices like the Four Noble Truths or Eightfold Path, and one's emancipation through the gradual 4 stages. Salvation could be ensured instead by giving regular and lavish gifts to the Sangha. It is therefore not difficult to appreciate why Mahayana had a great following among rulers, merchants, prosperous artisans and craftsmen. Mahayanism also made signal contribution to the concept of Bodhisattva, who actually replaces the Arhat of the Hinayana thought. The Bodhisattva could be a divinity, a recluse, and even a householder. Theoretically, all Mahayanists were potential Bodhisattvas. The Bodhisattva is the Buddha becoming, different from the Buddha being. Though the Bodhisattva has attained a very high spiritual status and perfectly capable of attaining the Buddhahood, yet he refrains from reaching that ultimate state till the entire humanity reached the sacred goal of salvation. As the Bodhisattva is full of compassion or karuna for human miseries and always strives for the amelioration of human sorrow, the concept naturally attracted great attention. Particularly prominent among the Bodhisattvas are Avalokiteshvara, Manjusri, and Maitreya. Manjusri presides over knowledge and removes the darkness of ignorance. He is also the preceptor of Maitreya, the future Buddha. 2 Mahayana philosophies immensely enriched Indian classical thoughts. One is Yogachara, founded by Boshubandhu, and Shunyavad, the concept of void, the latter established by the celebrated philosopher Nagarjuna. So we can conclude that in the Kushana period there were some important developments in the Buddhist philosophy, and it became different from its initial stage. So this is the end of our today's discussion. Subscribe our channel, like our video and comment. Listen to our podcast episodes. Follow our official Facebook page, Twitter handle and Instagram. For any query, feel free to mail us. For details, see the description.